G'day everybody, welcome to Lawnporn Live, a live stream about lawns and how to get a good one. My name's Matt Dorm, and tonight we are talking about Tiftuf and my experiences with it, and answer any questions, etc. that you have about Tiftuf. So Tiftuf that we've got is in Australia is Tiftuf Bermuda or Tiftuf Cooch. It's available from Lawn Solutions Australia, turf growers, accredited turf growers. Hey, Big Nate, how you going? G'day, Jacko, first Aussie. There's something about all these first Aussies within the programming. And g'day, Jason, how you going? So if someone could give me let me know that they can hear me and see me, that'd be really, really good. So other words, is the sound working, guys? Someone give me a message and let me know. But I'll continue yabbering on as much as I can. And hey, Jacko, how you going? Someone let me know that my sound's on. That'd be great. So today I was actually on 5AA this morning in Adelaide. I went to Michael Keelan weekend show, 5AA Studios, and I was there for 15 minutes chatting away with them. It seemed like 2 minutes, just so much fun with those guys. They invited me back and I said yep, so yeah, that's what I did this. I went last night and got there, stayed overnight, and then did the show in the morning and then zipped straight back. And I did a mow. Now, if you've looked at the Facebook page just recently, I've uploaded a video that I wanted to upload and show here. And it was a very, very quick edited video that I did like about half an hour ago. And for some reason, I couldn't get it to work on here, but then I did get it to work on here. It just wasn't loading up for some reason. So, it was a bit of a weird one with this program. But look, I'm having such fun with the Tiftuf, and I just get so many questions about it. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a show about it, and talk about it some and my experiences with it. I will be doing a proper video of it in a couple of weeks. I'm just waiting for that little bit to grow in next to my veranda. It only sees a couple of hours sun every day, starting around about 3 o'clock. So that bit is lagging where everything else is pretty much Mickey Mouse. I also installed the irrigation controller and my Smart Link today. And then when I was New Beauty, I was going to get straight into it. I'm just like, oh, I don't have two zones. I've only got one zone manifold. So that sort of stuffed it because I've got two zones. So I'm going to have to organise something from Reese and get them to send that up to me. And I'll do that next weekend. I'll do a video about that as well. No problems there. But can I do a video? Can I do a video of Ben Sims? I don't know. You'd have to ask him. Hi from Bo. Big Nate was listening to that on 5AA this morning. Sounds on, so I'm all good. Yeah, cool. All right. I think Ben Sims is sort of doing all of his American mates at the moment, so I don't think he's too interested in me. So I'm not that popular I'm not big on YouTube by any means. I'm much bigger on Facebook. But I'm growing, so that's all good. Lawn's growing. I don't get enough time to really hone in my skills when I'm talking skills, video skills for YouTube and everything. I'm doing the school project. That's been a hectic time, and look, I just don't get the time to do the editing, and I work full time. And I've got a full-time family, so I just jam in what I can when I can, and that's the way it works for me at the moment. And I'm much more concentrated just on the fertilizer side of things, i.e. getting it to the distributors, answering questions about it, and obviously setting it up internationally is taking a big bit of time, but it is going to be successful. So that's cool, all right, cool. And now I'm going to quickly play this video. I don't know if there's going to be any sound. I can't hear any sound with it, but I'm going to play it just to because now it seems to work. So fingers crossed. I'll pop this on, and it's just a quick, very, very quick video of today's mow. My missus is using my new gimbal that I got. Was swearing and cursing the whole way through it because she didn't know how to use it and I didn't know how to set it up properly. We're just mucking around with the camera and a new lens and everything as well. So it's a very, very quick production. But I'll put it on now. Give you a bit of a look at my today's mow. Let's hope this works. So this was just a quick video I did of my Tiftuf cut today at 6mm, and this is when I'm doing the double cut without the catcher. And look, it's looking fantastic. It's not quite growing in where the veranda is, but that doesn't get much sun, and I'm just really, really enthusiastic about this grass. I mean, look at that result. It's fantastic, and that swardman is just doing a world of good for this lawn. Well, I hope that wasn't silent for you. It's all working. Oh, that's good. I can't hear anything when that plays. Anyway, very, very quick video of today's mow, and isn't my Tiftuf just looking amazing? It's just such a good cooch, and I'll step you through it a little bit. I'll just check if there's any questions about it. Is it too late to do a reno for summer? No, it's not. Happy to. You can do renovation right through to the end of summer if you want to. Why we renovate earlier in the spring is because you'll use less water because it's not so hot. So renovating this time of year is absolutely perfect. Some people prefer to leave it to the late spring because they want a faster response and recovery. That's fair enough. You will still use that little bit more water because it's that little bit warmer than earlier in the spring. I like to do the earlier spring, so I wait, good 2-3 weeks going into spring, see that regular growth. If you're in a colder area, yeah, you needed to leave it till a little bit later, but even if you did do it then, you'd still get away with it. It's just a longer process of recovery. All right, so my Tiftuf, yeah, I put that in at the end of summer, so I think it was a couple more days left in February. It was quite hot. So going into March, going into autumn, it was very, very hot here at Port Augusta. We had some extreme heat for 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks of my Tiftuf and watering that in, very, very extreme heat, handled it very well. I was very, very impressed. Within a couple of weeks, I was mowing. The rhizome activity and bedding in was very, very quick. I was super impressed with that. And then it started to grow in, and I got some more cuts in. I got straight into the autumn program. I grew that little bit taller at that time because it was going into dormancy, going into the dormant season. So even though it did bed in, it hasn't sort of needed in. I mean, a new lawn to establish will take about a year actually. So this is the first growing season I've had with this lawn. Winter, look, it held colour really quite well. I did have some areas that, and that's right next to my veranda, where it just, I probably cut it a little bit too short, and it didn't really recover. A bit of traffic, and just absolutely no sun, and yeah, there was that little bit of die off. I'm looking forward to the next year's dormancy period. I'll be a lot more established, and I reckon I'll get through that without any troubles. But the first one, it didn't quite handle it. That's okay. I'm looking down the big picture. I was looking to spring and renovation, and everything's Mickey Mouse. Now, my area was, even though I leveled it as best as I could, some of the areas were very soft, some were hard underneath, so I knew I was going to get a bit of movement. You always do with a new lawn. And, I was just hanging out for spring. Spring's come along. I did a renovation, quite a heavy renovation. Everybody said that I killed it, but I didn't. I did a heavy top dress. I know what I'm doing, guys. And everybody was like, "Oh, you've killed it." And then, like 3 weeks later, it's pretty much back, and now it's just really on the improve. Nice and flat. I'm getting the lines. You can see from that video that I've just popped up. It's on the Facebook page if you want to take a look at it. It's just going so well, and I'm maintaining that to 5 to 6 mil now. I've gone up that 1 extra millimeter. As the season goes on, I start creeping up. We were playing golf on it today as well. Putt. It's a little bit long for a putt green, but I don't have a greens mower. I don't have a Toro or anything like that. But, I'm not having it as a putting green. I'm having it as a back lawn, something that I really want to look at. And having that little bit extra length is just fantastic for your deep green colours. And that's, what I want. My lawn is a showpiece. I want it to look just Mickey Mouse. And it's really starting to get that manicured Mickey Mouse look that I really like. And, especially... a couple of weeks of renovation after the renovation, pop the charger down on it. I've got a video of that on my YouTube as well. Check that out. And it just really filled it in quickly, made the recovery just so quick, and that was just at the lowest strength. Now, any questions about the Tiftuf? Let's have a look. It's working. Yep, okay, had no choice to reno. Are you going to use PGR all this summer? Yes, I am. I use it on about a monthly basis. I start off, I've already used it once already. And that was at a low millage, 4 mil per the 100 square meters. I'm just using Primo Max. It's not the PGR, our PGR that's coming out. Our plant growth regulator that's coming out. It's not. I'm not using that at the moment. I'm just using Primo Max. Unfortunately, I think it's only in 5 litre containers. It would be nice if they brought back the litre container, but I don't know if that's happening or not. Brandon Jules is there. Good, mate. Cool. Cool. No worries. A good coring job too. Yeah, that's because Troy did it. Yeah. What's the price of Tiftuf? It's a little bit more expensive. You'd really have to speak to Lawn Solutions Australia distributor, Turf Farm, and get the prices off of them. At the moment, in some states, it's unavailable. That's due to the drought, but it's also due to the Lawnporn effect. Since I decided to put Tiftuf in my backyard, and look, full disclaimer, I got given the Tiftuf by Lawn Solutions Australia on the proviso that I could say anything that I wanted about it. It's not too many bad things that you can really say about it. There's some sort of one thing I did want to mention, and I could never bloody pronounce the thing. Gibberellic acid or something like that. Anyway, it's a certain type of, do I mean gibberellic acid? Yeah, it could possibly be. I'm looking at, yep. It's a hormone found in plants, you see, and it's got a funky formula, C19H22O6, blah, 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 blah. So, basically, Tiftuf has got double this growth hormone compared to any other cooch, including Santa Ana, which is very similar to it. And that's what, Lawn Solutions Australia think makes it hold its colour better, has the better drought tolerance. The one thing I really noticed about it, if you stop watering it, it stops growing but holds its colour. So it's just really, really good. I didn't water it for 10 days and I got a superb green out of it. I tried not watering it about almost like a whole month during winter, and we only got probably about 5 mils one day during the winter. And I started to lose condition, so it bit me a little bit in the bum. But I wanted to push it and find out. You guys want to find out about it too. So just the drought tolerance. I'm using less water. I'm definitely using less water, and that's also good for for the fact that you're using less water. But it's also good for controlling that growth. If you're not using growth regulator and you don't want to be cutting all the time, just cut back on your water and play the game a little bit that way. Obviously, if you've got some traffic on it, got some kids, you've got some dogs, human traffic, you're walking past. If you're keeping the water low and it's not growing and you're wearing on it, it will not self-repair as quickly. So, there's something that you've got to think about in that respect. Thatch. This is a really important point that I want to make about it. Thatch is, to my mind, much lower than comparable to Santa Ana. I mean, I'm keeping on top of it, Mickey Mouse, but I've got some areas that I've let grow wild. I still haven't installed my valve box or everything for my irrigation yet. I'll be doing that next weekend. And those areas that are long, I've just let them grow long. They haven't been cut the whole season. And there's a couple of seed heads there too. That's no drama. But I'm looking underneath it and, there's not much thatch. A lot less than what I expected. Obviously, the rest of my lawn, I've been keeping on top of my thatch management because I'm mowing regularly. I've used the Scarifier cartridge, which is a dethatcher from the Swardman, a few times and just comb through it. I've now used the groomer a couple of times, bringing up that little bit of thatch and your lateral runners, because once the lateral runners start going on top of each other, it creates a bit more shade, creates a bit more thatch. There's more material to decompose. So look, I've got absolutely no thatch in mind because I'm just right on top of it. That's a little bit of work. It's not excessive amount of work, but I'd be fairly confident if I was the regular person that goes and gets Tiftuf, puts it in their front yard, backyard, whatever, and waters it once a week and mows it once a week. Mind you, if you're mowing once a week and you want to improve the condition in your lawn, mow it twice a week. You'll really see the difference in your lawn's condition doing that. But that's for another video. But you just won't get as much thatch, and that means that your air, water, and nutrients are going to get to your soil profile. They're going to get, if your soil's well managed, obviously, it'll get into your root zone and it'll look after the plant. So I'm really quite impressed with that. Now, why has it got less thatch? And look, this is just the way I've seen it grow compared to the way that Santa Ana grows. And when I first got it, I couldn't tell the difference looking at it. I thought, is this Santa Ana sitting on the pallet or what's going on? I said, no, it's Tiftuf. I said, wow, it's just amazingly similar. So now that I'm going into my first growing season, so I'm 2 months into my first growing season, number one, the response and I used pretty much the same stuff except the charger that I used, but the rhizome activity and just the way it grew in was so much quicker. It's also got to do, I think it's got to do with it grew in differently. Like, it's a little bit hard to explain here, but when you got the Santarana and you do a reno, and I've done renos as thick as what I did this year on my Santarana when I was back at Weiler. When it would grow in, it would be a splotch there, splotch there, splotch there, splotch there, and then the splotches would get bigger, and then there'd be a few other splotches. So it was like, I don't know, throwing sort of like paint that was, very gluggy, I suppose. I don't know how to explain it, but it would be more splotchy, and then it would grow in. There was a lot more lateral growth, so it did that a lot, like your lateral stolons, and yeah, you just notice it would grow in that way. Tiftuf is really grew in differently, and I mean, if you look at my video that I did with the charger, that was a few weeks after my renovation, and it was, you could see quite a bit of soil, but it was actually quite sort of even, and it just comes up, and that's when I really first started noticing that Tiftuf really wants to grow up more than grow laterally. It's just comes up. You get these little blades coming up everywhere, and it sort of comes up evenly, and that's because I think, I'm not 100% sure, but the rhizomes underneath the ground, they seem to be much more active, much more of them, a little bit shorter. They'll tend to pop out shorter, and then they'll, it seems to just, pop out all the rhizomes rather than the stolons on top. It's a little bit hard to explain, but yeah, in a very, very, how should I say it? Rough guide nutshell. I don't know how to explain it, but Tiftuf wants to grow up more than out, than what Santarana does. So there is quite the difference there, and it's probably the reason why it produces less thatch, because it's got that less sort of lateral growth. Don't get me wrong, Tiftuf's got lots of lateral growth. I think it's just it wants to grow up more than grow out sideways. So in regards to that, yeah, you just got to keep on top of your mowing. Obviously, it's the same as any other coach, and it's just that way that it grows with more up rather than sideways. It seems to produce less thatch. It's just the way I observe it anyway. I've just put down my first lot of plant growth regulator, and it's with the charger as well, it's just gone poof. It's just filled in nicely. I've just got that little bit of area next to the veranda. Anyway, I've yabbered a bit, so I'm not looking at the questions. I will get down to these now. Okay, laid Tiftuf in Sydney 4 weeks ago. This is Migazy, and it's very uneven and scalping a lot. Is it ready to top dress? How thick can I go over the top, sand or 80-20? Yes, you can reno it within about 4 weeks. Don't hit it too hard with the scarifier. I would just use a rotary mower. If you looked after it well and it's all attached and everything, it's going to be right. How thick you can go? Look, you can go a few millimeters. The thinner you go, the quicker it will recover. But if it's quite uneven, you might have to go that little bit thicker just to even it out a bit. Kind of like what I did in my reno. That'll take a little bit longer to come back, but the true rule with renovation with your top dress is a little bit at a time and build it up over time. But if you're prepared to just go that little bit thicker and wait that little bit longer, it'll do well. But a couple millimeters and you should be right. some areas will be a little bit thicker, obviously, are troughs. So I hope that helps. Okay, all right. Okay, this is a question about... yes, Jack, I'll get those hats. I'll get those hats to you, mate. It's just been a busy week. Charger isn't available near me yet. This is Gabrielle Anetta. I think that is. It's very small. I'm looking at a smaller screen within a smaller screen, so sorry if I get this wrong. Straining my eyes. Charger isn't available near me yet. Well, if it isn't available near you, go to www.toolroom.com.au. They're selling heaps of charger at the moment because a lot of the places don't have it. Get on there. They deliver. They put it. If the order's done before 3 p.m. on a given day, then it's out the door that day. If it's not, it's out the door the next day. Working day, that is. Okay. All right. Where am I? Oh, yep. Brian is saying that he's had his down for 12 months. He uses a rotor and very little thatch. Yeah. It really is just amazing. Like the thatch is less. There's no doubt. Obviously I haven't got an AB comparison, but I've mucked around with Santarana a long time, and yeah, definitely just less thatch. And that's a good thing. Hey, Matt, what's the best conditions to, I will answer questions. I'm trying to keep it on Tiftuf, not our products, but, cool bananas. Hey, Matt, what's the best conditions to apply charger in before rain or warm day or blah, blah, blah? Regards. Get your lawn. Look, with any foliar product of ours that you put on, it's always good to have some moisture in the soil. Don't have your soil running heaps dry. So a lot of the times what I do is I do time my watering that it's a day or two before I put some foliar fertilizer down. So just so that soil is wet. Now, you don't want windy conditions. You don't want it above 20 kilometres an hour wind, simply because it's a fine mist that you're putting down. You're feeding your lawn like a baby, little bits of food, and that fine mist is really needed to get that even coverage, and you don't want it blowing around in the wind. If it's above 30 degrees, I would leave it alone. Don't do it. If you're experienced with it, and say you get like a 36 degree day, and then you wait till like 7 o'clock at night, just before the sun goes down. Well, the sun, we have daylight saving here. I don't know, some other places don't, but the sun's still up, and the temperature is dropped to about 30 or 29 or something. You can use it then. And with any foliar fertilizer product, when you're first using it on a lawn that's renovated, because it's not used, the leaf's not used to the foliar feed, or it's the first time on an established lawn, you start at the lowest strength and then build your way up over a few weeks. It's the baby feeding analogy again. You just you got a little baby, you feed a little bit, you wait for it to grow a little bit, and then you feed it a bit more, and then you don't give your kid that's starting solids, you don't give him a chicken burger. you got to wait a few years for that one. All right. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying chicken burger. You can use Launch and Root Builder, and I think that's together in the place of Charger. I sort of chopped that question in half. Sorry about that. Launch really improves the condition of your lawn. It also looks after your root system, so it's working from your root system up. And Launch has got a bit of kelp in it, but Root Builder, which is our kelp, which will also boost your your root system, and over time will triple the mass of your root system, making it much more efficient with water and much more efficient with nutrients, i.e. it'll just become a much healthier plant, will improve that condition and get that stuff growing. The thing about Charger is that it's concentrating on the leaf and the laterals. Poof, it's making it really grow there. So I've had a few questions about, should I just use Charger rather than everything else, seeing as it's so quick, it's green, it's got the iron in it, blah, blah, blah. No, you shouldn't, because you're not really balancing your fertilization, because you'll have all leaf and not much roots, and that's not really what you want. It'll work for you in the short term, it won't work for you in the long term. You'll just be weakening the plant. Okay. Yes, a few people have been saying that about the Tiftuf. I think that's what V8 saw us talking about, that Tiftuf, because of that double gibberellic acid, has got some amazing properties, and backing down on the water, it's kind of like its own plant growth regulator. I know it's not, but it kind of is, because the lawn stops, it still looks good, it will hold colour, and I've seen that, and you just think, wow, that's really good. I don't think lessening the water would, and having it in that drought state, and it holds that drought state very well, will do anything like the PGR does with lessening seed heads and stuff like that, which come around this time of year. I've had a couple in mine, even with using PGR, but like when I say a couple, I've seen two. So, but not using PGR, and if you're lessening on the water, I could imagine this time of year that you could get a lot of seed head activity, but I haven't seen that in mine. Obviously, I'm all over the top of it, but just last year with my Santa Ana, I was like, this is almost seed head time. Do I PGR? Do I not PGR? No, I'll leave it. I'll leave it for a few more days. I'll leave it alone, and then I'll come back to it when I had to go away for something for work. I can't remember what. And I came back, and that was like, boom, there were seed heads everywhere, and it was just like just before I needed to sell my house. And I was just like, oh man, this is a disaster, because lots of seed heads really takes a lot of energy out of the plant, and it just lessens the condition of it, and it's just they're shitty. I hate them. Yeah, it's a natural process of the plant. It happens, but yeah. Okay, now. Keen for some Honda reviews there. They are some great mowers. Honda sending me one. I had to sign the paperwork last week, so I'm going to give that a try soon. It's all very special. Got a few things in the pipeline for me, so that's really good. They are going to be sponsoring the grass off, so that's the Australia's great grass off, powered by Honda. Yeah, I like it. So cool. All right, somebody's retracted a message. I have Tiftuf, and some areas seem to be growing slower than others in patches, and the colour varies slightly. What are your thoughts? I've actually got the same thing I've noticed as well, simply because the small variation that I get, like I'm doing mine to 5mm, and now 6mm. It's only a millimetre difference, but even though my area is quite flat now, there are some areas that just ever so slightly longer because of just the small variation in the ground, and they appear a little bit darker. It's quite interesting, and I noticed as well that the green colour of the Tiftuf tends to really get darker as you go up in height, and it seems to be more at that top of the plant, I guess. That's why I think just your ordinary person mowing it with a rotary wants to likes mowing. Hasn't got the money to get the cylinder mower, hasn't got all the time that some of us put into our lawns, but still likes a cooch, likes the soft feel of it. Really, and we'll mow it at 10 millimeters to 15 millimeters. That sort of height still looks neat, still looks manicured. Especially if you've got sharp mower blades for your rotary mower, and it looks really, really, really neat, and it less thatch, and just that 10 to 15 millimeter range is just, I reckon, such a much deeper color. That's something I've noticed. So getting back to that question, the color variation that I've seen is very, very slight. I think it's just because of the varying height. It could be also lots of other things, depending on how your soil condition is. Is it even? Hey, look, going with the foliar fertilizer, you're feeding through the leaves. That if you're using green light and stuff like that, should really sort out a lot of your color variation problems if you're having some. Give us a go. Let us know. I'd be interested to hear about that. I'll keep that one in mind. About it growing slower in other places. Well, I've got it growing ever so slowly in a few places in mine, but that's due to the environmental conditions. It's also got to really do with, is your water even, sort of thing, and I don't mean to product bash, but moist will help you with that. So cool. Now there was a question here. I did say something about there's some people that say, I can't remember if it's gone up. Yes, Nickhoff. Here we go. Nick Ohoff, sorry, not Nickhoff. Hey, Matty, the turf supplier told me use quarter strength fur on my Tiftuf. What's your opinion? I've been doing my program on it, and it's fine. It loves it. And you can see by the pictures that I post that it loves it. And that video I just did, that was today's mow. The Tiftuf is, I think it's got, I haven't tested the claim of a quarter of the fertilizer. I think what that is linking back to is how it's got double that plant hormone compared to other cooches. It gives it the qualities of that, it locks it into drought mode, so it will hold the colour when the water's less, and it'll also hold that colour and hold the better condition through the winter. So I think it's sort of linked into that somehow. The first 2 weeks of my Tiftuf, because it was so hot, and I had some good soil going down there too, it seemed fine, and so there was no fertilizer at that stage. I couldn't fertilize with 45 degrees every day, and it seemed fine, but it was taking some of the nutrients of the soil. So I hope that answers that one. But look, lawns need food. Does it need quarter the food? I don't know what testing they've done to come up with that figure, so I'm not going to say no to it, but I'm not really willing to try. I'm not really willing to try. I'm following my program, and just enjoying the use and fun of my products and seeing the results. So so Brian was told the same, but has been using LP products as per the instructions and is very happy with the results. I think Brian also follows the program, so there you go. Do I have any tips on earthworms and how to reduce them or make them go away? By the way, love your work. Not really. Earthworms are a good thing. They aerate your lawn. I know Sam Zazzolo is looking for the answer to that one too, because he gets a lot of them every morning. They come up and they just make all these little mounds on his lawn. I know it can be really painful. I'm just trying to think. there might be something. I'll do some research on that. I do remember somebody telling me something about some sort of product that they use to make that happen. If anybody is here watching and they got some ideas, go for it. Brendan Weekly, sponsored by Lawnporn. How's it going, bloke? Good to see you, mate. And Migazy, thanks for the info. Matty, another one you mentioned, it hasn't been watered enough, it slows down, keeps colour. If it feels a bit crunchy underfoot, is that a sign of it being thirsty? That's the thing called the step test. So when you step on lawn and you step off of it, it'll bounce back if it's hydrated. If it's not hydrated, it'll bounce back. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll take a bit of time. That's when you need to water it. So it's called the step test. That's a pretty easy one. If it's crunchy, yes. Now that brings me to another thing that I was going to mention. Walking barefoot on 5mm Tiftuf is totally sublime. Love it. It's got a great feeling to it. However, Santarana just feels that smidge of a percent softer, and I reckon it's got to do with how I think Tiftuf is growing up more than it's growing laterally. So it's quite interesting. Look, certainly, I've still got to muck around with mine a bit more, see how it goes. I reckon with further into the season, with more PGR applications at a bit more strength as well, that lateral growth will become more, the height will go down and the height growth will slow, should I say, not go down. And I'll get that similar feeling, but like Santarana, walking on Santarana 5mm is just, sublime, and it's just that little bit different. But, I'm being very, very pedantic, fussy, and like I said, it's early in the season, so thanks for the feedback. No money for real, get a Honda, seriously. Yeah, Honda mowers are going to be good. It's going to be interesting mucking around with it. I'm going to be mucking around with it at the school project, but I'm also going to be doing a front lawn soon. So, yeah, I'll be using it for that. And that's going to be a different variety than my front. So, hello, bro. I just uploaded my new music. Please check. I will. I'm guessing he's got some stuff on Epidemic Sound. I'm not sure. Ian Muggy. Would you know a company in Aussie that is good for old replacement parts for a Suffolk cylinder mower? I'm after the 3/16 oil cups, mate. I've got no idea. Might be worth going to Scott Bonner Restoration's page and asking. Somebody might have some knowledge there. If not, I would ask All Mower Spares. If not, maybe like somebody in the know, like George Bonmods or something like that. I'd pop the question out there. Even on the question on the Lawnporn chat page, somebody might know. Sorry, I can't help you any more than that. Big Aussie Nate got $1,700 to spend on a mower, but unsure what to get. An old Scott Bonner or a new Bush Ranger. Very, very interesting question. There's nothing wrong with the Bush Ranger, and for the 1,700 you can get the 20-inch. It seems to be all right. It's going all right at the school project. No real issues with it. I have heard that it is a little bit harder to adjust, and when you need to take the reel off and everything like that. Some people don't like the plastic roller at the back. I like it. I reckon it's okay. It's quite a light mower on the lawn. So whereas like the Protea will sit a bit heavier, and and some people don't like the wooden rollers at the front. You can get George Bonmonts does a replacement for them, but I really like them. They're quite. I've done quite a lot of mowing with that mower, and I haven't had any problems with the wooden front. And I think it looks a little bit more classic. So, excuse me, I need a drink. Oh, getting a bit thirsty. All right, okay. Let's have a look. So yeah, the thing about getting a new mower as well is that you got a warranty where you're getting a Scott Bonner. Say you pick up one for 500, 700 bucks. You can quite easily spend $2,000 on it if you're doing it magnificently. But if you just want it to work, then you can get under that $1,700 mark. So it's a bit of an adventure. It's a bit up to you. Best to search around, but they're hard to get now. They're really hard to get. Okay. How will Tiftuf cope with dogs? Good question. I don't have a dog, so that's difficult to say. But I think it self repairs very quickly over the growing season. Obviously, it'll slow down and stop during dormancy in winter. But that self repair is very important. Like I had Santa Ana back at while I had a big black lab that was silly as a kid, ran around a whole heap, until he passed away, bless his soul. But good old Guinness, my dog, I miss him. And I managed that with a yard and a dog's yard, special dog's yard, where he could just go in and tear that up if he wanted to. He was an outside dog, but I think it would handle it very, very well. When it comes to piss stains and stuff like that, well, it's going to react the same as any other grass. It'll, if there's lots of nitrogen in the wee and whatnot, you'll get piss burn marks. Simple as that. It's not going to be resistant to that. However, when you need that self repair, and if you can manage your traffic of your dog as well, it'll self repair quite quickly. So, So the best thing for dogs is to grow that little bit longer, and they'll sort of absorb some of the wear and tear. I think it's great. Tiftuf would be great for dogs, but you're going to have to manage your traffic with your dogs. It's as simple as that. Even Kikuyu won't survive, dogs running up and down the same patch and, causing compaction and wear and then causing no repair. So, but I think well managed Tiftuf is an excellent choice. All right. When can we get charged? Ryan Johnson. None of my locals today had any of it. Charges is out. The people that are stockists can order it and they'll get it pretty much straight away. So it's up to the stockist to order it. We've told as many as we possibly can through our network. It's coming via emails, via talking to some people. I've basically I do as much as I can in my time that I can, and the thing is I'm working full time and I work the same time that they do, so it doesn't happen till night and when I pump out an email and everything else. Amgrow do their bit obviously, and the reps do their bit, but it is available for them to get. If some of them haven't got it yet, it could be a number of factors. Number one, they haven't ordered it. Number two, they draw their stock, say like if they're a Mitre 10 or something like that. And I'm just using that example as like, I don't know this for sure, but some of the bigger chains will have their stock in a certain place, and their retailer chain will draw from that stock. So so there's a little bit of a a hurdle that way for some of the shops, and the third one I forgot, but basically they've got to order it, and there's plenty there. They can all get it. So some places I've heard that people have gone into it, they've asked it, and the retailer didn't know anything about it. You can't expect all the retailers, and this is the third thing that I was going to say. You can't expect all the retailers to know about the products all the time. They're busy running their business and everything. They haven't got all day to sit on Facebook and sit on Lawnporn. So, they're just trying to get by because it's a tough world. So, yeah, there's probably a bit of that as well. All right. What's the best way to get rid of seed heads once it's showing up? Now, this is not only for Tiftuf, but this is also for all sorts of things. Number one, the seed heads will, it's a natural thing. And I've got my own sort of theory about it. I'm not going to plug it right now because it's not based with any science whatsoever. But you hear the people say, oh, it's when it's stressed and it's not getting enough nutrition, blah, 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 blah. It's something that naturally occurs with the weather change. There's all sorts of other factors as well. But when you do get them, they suck. It really takes the condition out of your plant. If you're mowing low, it doesn't look any good. When you do mow them, I know this for a fact with Santa Ana seed heads, that they're so fine and I don't know, the stalks, when you cut them, you won't cut the whole stalk, and you leave like these little grey hairs all over your lawn. So you got this nice cut lawn with all these grey hairs that your mower just couldn't quite cut, sort of thing, and it looks terrible. And so the way to get rid of them is to use plant growth regulator like before they come up. When they do come up, look, give them a mow, and then they come straight up the next day. I know, but you got to just keep mowing it. Then give it about 12 hours at one stage after a mow, and then put down PGR. That'll lessen your seed heads, and it will lessen the height of them. And then keep on top of your mowing. Seed heads do come and go as well, but when I got hit with them at wire last year, I was spewing. I was like, why didn't I get my PGR down? So PGR will lessen your seed heads and lessen the amount of them and lessen the height of them. So and regular mowing will keep on top of it. Of course, you've got to keep your water and nutrition up, and your condition of your plant up. All right, I can't believe that I've yabbered for an hour. That's crazy. Anyway, I hope I've helped you with some stuff. All right, yeah. So there you go, Ryan Johnson. Thanks. Was it Mitre 10 and Virginia Nursery? So they didn't have it. Oh, right. Yeah, Virginia's pretty good. They'll probably get some soon. But yeah, Semaphore Pet and Garden had it, and Jerry's had it. I did inform Garden Grove. I said it's coming out, get it. And they're like, oh yeah, cool. And look, that was another one. They just didn't know about it. So I said, yeah, that's the new one. It's coming out. It's been coming out for like 2 months, but yeah, we've got it coming out now. Get some, because everybody's going to want some. So, and look, thanks for the support in regards to the new product. It's just been amazing. I hope you're having some good results with it. But getting back to the topic of this video, I just wanted to talk about Tiftuf. I'm going to do a video very soon in the future, probably give it about 2 more weeks, and it's just an amazing grass, amazing lawn. If you're thinking about getting it, contact your Lawn Solutions Australia dealer. It's just, and I know that is a weight on it in some states. It's worth the wait. It really is. It's just, I found it's just so much better than Santa Ana. And yeah, I'm just having an absolute blast with it. I thought my season was going to be good. My seasons each one seems to be getting better over the last few years, but this is really good, and I'm not paid to say it. I'm not, I'm not here to promote it as such. Well, I suppose I am, but you know, I'm free to say what I like about any product that I review, good, bad, or otherwise. If there's a real problem, I'll obviously contact the person, say, hey, this is what's going on here, and and whatnot. But I've had an absolute ball with the Tiftuf. It's great low. It's definitely using less water. There's definitely less thatch. There's just no doubt about, in my mind whatsoever, there's just less thatch. I think for your, sorry to use the terminology, but your regular Joe with a rotary mower that, once, twice a week has got the time to mow, give it that regular water, and hasn't got that much time to dedicate to it, and you like cooch, you like the soft feel of it, and you don't mind it in that 10 to 15 mil range, which I think is the real, ideal for the regular person, so to speak. It's just an amazing lawn, and you just can't go wrong with it. The winter, I've only had one winter with it, and it didn't really get time to obviously grow them properly, or establish properly. But it looked really quite good in the winter. I've heard reports of some people saying that people that tend to overseed with rye in their Tiftuf, they don't seem to get much of the rye popping up, and it's like the Tiftuf is taking over, and it doesn't really need to be overseeded for that. Like, I've only had a few people say that to me. I haven't gone and seen that result myself or anything like that, but where I am, there's no need to overseed for winter with this grass. I mean, okay, it's wintergreen cooch at Sam Zazzolo's. Like, his lawn was amazing over winter. Didn't need to overseed with anything. He just grew a bit longer, used Lawnporn products, and you don't have to use Lawnporn products. You can use any other sort of fertilizer, so long as you're keeping it fed up, with balanced sort of fertilizer over winter. And yeah, didn't need to overseed. It looked great. Didn't need to mow either because it stopped, So, grew that little bit longer, and I think Tiftuf is going to be definitely the same thing. Grow that little bit longer, have that great autumn condition. Going into winter, it switches off. Don't mow it for a couple of months, and you'll be right. So I think it's just an awesome product, awesome lawn. It's definitely the best lawn that I've ever used or had the pleasure to work with, so to speak. Really spewing that we couldn't make Tiftuf down at the school project, but that was just the way it was. Eureka Kaiku is a good choice there. But I just wanted to do this video in a couple of weeks when I've played around with my gimbal that I've got. I've been playing around with the last couple of days. Or the wife has been playing around with it. I hope to do a really good video to represent the product, and I think that all locked. Yeah, I think I just think it's just a quality product. They've really done their homework, they test so many different lawns, and they sort of like choose one, and I think they've really chosen just such a quality product. Anyway, I'll just do a quick look at the questions, but I've really got to get going. I've got to have some tea. I'm starving. Okay. All right, Troy, I will explain PGR another day, but there are videos that I do talk about it. All right. Okay, no worries. All right. Get your lawn on. Can't believe that was an hour. Didn't feel like it.